A very good evening and thank you yet again for joining us on Uctv News. My name is Nora Osende to bring you the bulletin. Today it is a Monday and it is the 14th of October 2024. We thank you for staying with us. Today we are starting off our newscast with over 379,000 students that's across Uganda have commenced their Uganda Certificate of Education final examinations today, including 10,147 sitting for transitional examinations. Now, during a media brief at the police headquarters, the Uganda National Examination Board spokesperson Jennifer Kalule cautioned examination center administrators against preventing candidates from sitting examinations over unpaid school fees during the examination period. UNEP spokesperson emphasized the need for smooth and uninterrupted examination process.
This academic year, the total candidate of the two sets of examinations is 379,748. Of these, 10,147 are transition candidates, while 369,601 are the pioneers of the new law secondary curriculum.
This year is a unique year for us as UNEP. We shall be conducting two sets of examinations for UCE. This is the new curriculum as well as the old curriculum, which we are calling the transitional examination. We therefore have the two sets of candidates sitting for the examination at the same time.
Speaking to journalists earlier today, Jennifer Kalule cautioned examination center heads and schools administrators to refrain from interrupting candidates during the examination period on grounds of unpaid school dues, since the board has a contingent plan to assist them recover their monies at the release of these examination results.
Now that examinations have started, we request heads of centers not to avoid blocking candidates from accessing the examination rooms or avoid pulling them out of the examination room, because this is a serious matter of insecurity to the learners and to the examinations. The schools have our backing. We want to support them. We don't want them to lose their monies, but we also want to make sure that the learners are able to do the examinations, because we don't want to be between them and their destinies. That's the mechanism that we have in place.
Kalule adds that this should not be treated as a license by the candidates to exhibit their impunity during this period, as UNEB will not at any point sympathize with errant students.
The fact that you are a candidate does not absolve you from following school rules and regulations. UNEB will neither be involved nor sympathize with any candidate in case such a candidate has been subject to disciplinary measures by the school on account of indiscipline.
In the same vein, she sounded a warning to members of the public who might be tempted to involve themselves in any form of examination malpractice because of the severe punishment that comes along with it.
Therefore, we send out a warning to everybody out there who has intentions of disrupting this year's examination by aiding and abetting malpractice, that our security teams are on high alert, and once you are caught, the law will catch up with you. Anyone who will be found culpable will be dealt with in accordance with the provisions of the UNEB Act 2021.
According to the UNEB Act 2021, Section 25(1), any person who gains or attempts to gain possession of an examination paper, material or information, or any part of an examination paper commits an offense and is liable to a penalty of 40 million Uganda shillings, imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or even both. Section 26 also provides that teachers, invigilators and scouts, or any other person who assists candidates to cheat or negligently allows the vice is liable to a penalty not exceeding 20 million Uganda shillings, 5 years imprisonment, or even both. Uctv. Good news for all.
Now, a total number of 379,748 candidates across Uganda have commenced their Uganda Certificate of Education examinations today, marking a significant milestone in their academic journey. While the exams kicked off with Mathematics Paper 1 in the morning, it was followed by the Chemistry Paper 1 in the afternoon. Now, at Uctv Secondary School, a government-aided institution, the atmosphere was calm and students expressed eagerness to begin their examinations.
We have presented for the students of lower curriculum over 700 students, and I would like to be specific on these particular students who are sitting today. The old curriculum, as far as A level is concerned, they are slightly over 300 students, and in total that gives us over 1,000 students presented for this. We are very optimistic that we shall be successful as usual, because we know that God stands with us all the time.
Cooperated with teachers, fellows from different schools, teachers of different schools. Our parents have helped us to make research. Our head teachers been so cooperative, and our deputies. That's all.
We are prepared for the exams. As you see that we are having all the materials required for the examination. And we are prepared in the way that we have been prepared by our teachers. We thank our teachers for having been there for us, and everything is well going on.
As the Uganda National Examinations Board begins to assess candidates under the new lower secondary school curriculum, the Uganda Certificate of Education examination commenced this very morning. Now, many of the pioneer candidates express hope to excel not only academically, but also in real-life experiences. Now, education stakeholders, primary teachers, generally agree that the new curriculum is timely and relevant to the evolving world. However, some feel its implementation was rushed.
As the Uganda Certificate of Education UCE examinations for 2024 began this morning, several education stakeholders, especially teachers and students, have shared their exciting thoughts on the impact of the new curriculum. Right after the first examination day, the pioneer candidates expressed excitement and hope for strong and good grades, citing the flexibility in the nature of questions they encountered in mathematics and chemistry, the first two papers they sat for today. While these candidates acknowledge the challenges of adapting to the curriculum in its initial stages, they remain optimistic that this is still a better deal.
We are doing scenario-based questions which build the mind, like you think critically before coming up with a calculation. Then if I'm to compare to the old curriculum, the questions were kind of direct, of which you have the numbers there. But as for us, we have to read and use the English we are taught to what? In order to find out the calculations we are to make.
It makes me a learner be in place of a current day situation with a problem whereby I'm able to solve using what I know in class, using the knowledge I got from class. How do I apply it in the field outside?
You interact with those candidates of 2023, 2022 going downwards, ask you, man, how is the paper? The guy will tell you the paper is hot or is actually expecting a lot of hardness because of the past papers he has been going through. The paper comes having one topic repeating in over 3 questions, something like that. But now with the new curriculum, you come to discover that it is looking at what we call applying the concept you've gotten from class, other than just applying the knowledge you get from class and put it there, then leave it there and move out.
Most teachers we spoke to also believe the lower secondary school curriculum, which is being assessed nationally for the first time since its inception, is a valuable adaptation to the changing world, while also citing its cost efficiency compared to the old curriculum. Others, however, view it as a rushed strategy.
A learner who is living, who is a product of this new secondary lower curriculum, will go out of school while having some skills, can be able to do something for his own, can be able to share with the communities and change the lives of the communities.
Previously, the questions were just testing the cognitive part. But now this one here involves the skills. When a learner tries to read through the question, you really see that it is not only involving the calculation part, but also there is somewhere it can be applied.
They are running costs of making the activity itself. Then they are running costs of resources when you are training the learners, when you're inviting some experts from out. But look at the situation. If you are supposed to have physics or mathematics 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2, you don't bring one resource person. There's an expert for paper 2. There's an expert for paper 1. So if you have been paying for the 2 papers, every resource person maybe 500,000, you come now to or that would be 1 million, okay? But if you look at it, you come to pay only 500,000.
Whereas this new curriculum, which focuses on practical skills with concept application, has been well received by both students and teachers who have commended the shift, we wait to see if it eventually stands the test of time and bears the fruits much hoped for. I am Alonzo for UCTV.
As the UCE examination commences across the country, now the Forum for Democratic Change party is demanding the abolition of examination fees charged by the Uganda National Examinations Board, or UNEB, citing that it is a significant barrier for the underprivileged students. According to John Chikonyogo, the party spokesperson, now this fee is unaffordable for many, resulting in numerous candidates missing their final examinations.
According to our manifesto, FDC believes that each and every Ugandan has a right to education. All the hindrances to right to education must be removed. So FDC believes that this examination fee is prohibitive to some of the poor parents who cannot afford to even have 2 meals a day. It's very unfair for the government, which is supposed to make sure that all students go to school, that they put this examination fee mostly on private schools. USC schools don't pay for this money. So we are asking as FDC, what's the use of paying this money? Where does this money go? Of what use is this money? If UNEP wanted money to do its work, they can put it in the vote of the Ministry of Education and they go Parliament and ask for it. This money here should be waived because mostly goes to the private schools, and most of the people who take their children to private schools are poor parents. These poor parents were giving them a lot of burden to pay school fees and at the same time pay for the examination fee. So as FDC, we appeal to government to remove this examination fee completely. We don't need it. This examination fee has resulted in too many of our poor students missing their final exams in Senior 4, P7 and A-level. O-level, they pay 164,000, slightly over that. A-level, they are paying 186,000. This looks small money for those who are in Kampala, but the people in the village, it's a lot of money. So this money here has caused a lot of dropouts, people failing to do their exams in the countryside. So we believe if we remove this money, we can remove the burden from parents. And even secondly, some parents pay this money to head teachers and bursaries of different schools. And the headmasters end up eating this money. The students only find out they're not going to do exams only about a week or two to exams. So to avoid all that, if we remove this money, that business of teachers eating the money will not be there. These people who miss exams, the parents have to pay an extra year for those students to stay in school and do exams for it. And you know, the whole country wasted 2 years. We used to sit Senior 4 at the age of 16. Most of all the students those years were in school. But most of these people sitting at S4 now, some of them are 18 years because we wasted 2 years in COVID. Someone who is 18 years and then he doesn't sit for exam because there's an examination fee. He's going to sit now Senior 4 at 19 years. 19 years, most of us had already finished 11. So this money here should be removed once for all. We don't need it. We don't know even what they use it for. Those days they used to do it manually, that people used to come and collect those forms and what have you. But these days it's digital. You don't need to come anywhere to pick these names from head teachers. Everything is digital. So this money here is useless, it's prohibitive, it's working against the parents who are not doing well. And you know the government is supposed to provide schools, but they don't have enough. And more than 65% of our children go to private schools. So the government must do something about it and waive this fee.
Now, the Lord Mayor of Kampala capital city, Elias Lukwago, has criticized the government's response to the Chitezi landfill disaster, which claimed 35 lives and displaced many residents who stayed around the landfill. Lukwago's remarks came after warning from the State Minister of Disaster Preparedness, Lillian Abel, who cautioned the Kampala City Authority, or the KCCA, and the local officials in Wakiso and Kampala about the increased risk of another disaster in Chitezi due to the heavy rains. Lukwago attributed the tragedy to the unstructured operations of the executive and technical wings of the authority, delivering these remarks during the State of Kampala address.
This morning, my office has received an alert, a warning, from the Minister of State for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, the Honorable Lillian Abel. It's addressed to the Resident State Commissioner Wakiso, LC5 Chairperson Wakiso, the Lord Mayor Kampala, the Mayor Kasangat. Dated 11th October, that was Friday last week, warning on the likely second Chitezi landfill collapse. We have received a new disturbing report from the National Emergency Coordination and Operations Center, NICOC, about the status and fragile nature of garbage mountain in Chitezi, and due to the current heavy rains, there is a threat of a second landfill collapse. This is to request you to urgently mobilize and warn the population around the landfill of the risk and advise them to vacate to save life. Treat this communication with the urgency it deserves, the Minister signs. This is the disjointed operation we are talking, the unstructured operation we are talking about. It's not about issuing a notice of this nature that you go tell people to run away to which direction. For the last 2 months, government ought to have worked out a mechanism, a systematic arrangement. The Chitezi, West Slide happened on 10th of August. Today, 15th of October. No resettlement plan has been made. Yes? 14th. Today is the 14th of October. And up to now, there is no resettlement plan. We knew all this. Actually, she's just explaining what has always been happening there. It's nothing new. Immediately, the first Chitezi West Slide happened. The red flag was up that a second episode was about to happen. Now, they simply write, where is the... We have a disaster response committee. We have a disaster response policy, a national disaster response policy. It is the same story with Kampala and all the districts. What the minister should be doing now is activating all these organs, the Disaster Response Committee, the Interagency Coordination Committee, and whatnot. We work out emergency responses to this impending catastrophe. Now, it's as if now it's a practice. Everybody writing to distance themselves from the responsibility. Actually, she is now. I think it is written in the spirit of saying, if it happens, Sabagamba, didn't I tell you? I warned you. This business of a warned you must stop. Government should discard all manner of subterfuge and unequivocally pronounce itself on the as the sole manager of the crisis. This is what we are proposing.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we return, Uctv News continues.
Uctv. Good news for all.
Welcome to Seeds of Success. My name is Rwanga Godfrey. Seeds of Success, we talk about business environment.
If you want to be a millionaire, work for money. But billionaires work for wealth.
Social affairs.
Whom to blame via characters and talents? Is it tertiary institutions or humanity within the human beings?
And other topical issues. Don't miss on Uctv. Good news for all.
And welcome back from that break. Now, moving on with UCTV News. The dismissed Kampala Capital City Authority KCC Executive Director Dorothy Chisaka, Deputy Engineer David Luyimbazi, and the Public Health Director Dr. Daniel Okello have been summoned to report at the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, on Wednesday. Now, their summons follows the recent dismissal and a directive from the President to Uganda Police that's to investigate the collapse of the Chitezi landfill, which resulted in 235 fatalities. This was announced by the police spokesperson, Risoke Chituma, during the weekly security briefing at Naguru Police Headquarters today.
It is true that the former executive director of Kampala Capital City Authority and her deputy, as well as the director of public health and environment, were summoned to CID headquarters. They were not summoned today, like the way the news say. They were summoned and are expected at the CID headquarters on Wednesday. As you are all aware, we got a directive from His Excellency the President, and we are moving smoothly in that direction. And on Wednesday, they will appear, where we shall have their statements taken and their version given.
The 68th anniversary of the Uganda Young Christian Students Movement, or YCS, was celebrated on Saturday at the Namugongo Catholic Shrine under the theme, Forming Leaders and Transforming Lives. Now, the event attracted thousands of students from Catholic schools across the country. Monsignor John Baptist Kauta, the Secretary General at the Uganda Episcopal Conference, led the Mass reminding the students of their identity as children of God and shared responsibility of proclaiming the gospel. He urged the students, especially new members, to live exemplary lives and bear witness to their faith.
As we welcome them, we are very fortunate today that the first reading is telling you and me that by being Christians, we belong to the people of God. There is no Jew, there is no Gentile, there is no slave, there is no free man. All of us belong to God. There is no woman, there is no man, there is no boy. All of us are children of God. And the reason for being children of God is through baptism. Once we are baptized, we join a club of all God's people. By being God's people, we move, work, share, and proclaim the gospel as a responsibility not only for you, but for our parents, for our uncles, for our aunties, for everybody. We all belong because Christ has redeemed us. So today, as we enroll YCSers, we are reminding them, all the members, that through baptism, we are one club and one group.
The YCS has given me so many things. We call it a school of formation. YCS has made me somewhat what I am, educationally, socially, and later YCS is a school of formation for the young people to remain very active in the church and society. In the YCS we had leadership training, catechism, we had training in social life, in assertiveness, in HIV/AIDS prevention, in leadership training, and of course it is through YCS that I became an academic and moved through all the ranks up to this level of a professor. But up to now, I am proud that I'm a member of the YCS.
And this movement started way back in 50s here in Uganda. And when we are celebrating 68th anniversary of the celebration, that means growth in the movement. And YCS transforms and builds leadership. And most of our young people who are now working in the different places, some are old, much older than the youthful age, like me, came through this movement. And we are very grateful to the founder of the movement. Its purpose is to make the students' world a happier and better place to live in. And indeed, we believe that the young people who are students are supposed to help support their fellow students within the environment in the schools, and at the same time look at the neighborhood. That's what we call the community. The community where a particular school exists is also where these young people give their service.
Today it is 68 years old. We are here to mark the anniversary, but I'm still the only female national leader of the YCS Uganda has had. I would like to encourage more ladies to take up the challenge and offer leadership. YCS trains leaders for the church and for the society. YCS is a unique family that we belong to. Once you have been a member of the YCS, lived by its objective of making the students' world a better and happier place to live in, experience the YCS methodology of see, judge and act, you will never be the same.
The Bishop of Kasese Catholic Diocese, Right Reverend Francis Aquinas Chibira, has called on catechists to teach catechism candidates in their local languages to improve understanding and ensure lifelong retention of these teachings. Now, Bishop Chibira made the appeal during the commissioning of Father Kayonza Memorial School, that's in Hima, Kasese District, where he also administered the sacrament of confirmation to newly graduated catechism students.
Father Kayonza Memorial School was established a few years ago in memory of the outspoken Catholic priest, Reverend Father Dr. Vincent Kayonza, after his demise in 2022, as an attempt to honor the legacy of the late, who was a vocal advocate of the Catholic faith and education. After a couple of years since its inception, the school was formally commissioned yesterday at an event which was preceded by the students' march led by the brass band from the school premises to Hima Town Council. From the sensation marching, Right Reverend Francis Aquinas Chibira commissioned and blessed the school foundation stone before planting a memorial tree.
You are supposed to look after this tree for hungry people. The time you go away and you see after senior 6, you are going to find a replacement.
Subsequently, the bishop animated the Holy Mass, in which he implored the congregation to educate their children and as well groom them within the Catholic ethos.
Let us educate our children in our families. If you are a rich man, make sure your grandchildren are well educated. Then they will usefully profitably use the wealth that you may leave behind. But if you have children who are not educated, they will even sell this school and buy borders.
The Eucharistic Mass was intertwined with the confirmation rite of 65 students, upon which Right Reverend Chibira tasked the catechists to use local languages while administering catechism programs as a way of ensuring comprehension and lifelong retention among the new Catholic devotees.
I encourage all teachers, if you know English, teach religion in vernacular. It's the best medium to teach religion. Because when you teach religion in English, after a few years, they will forget everything. For me, up to now, I've never forgotten the way my father taught me the rosary and taught me the prayers. And I still say my night prayers, my rosary, the way my father taught me in vernacular.
As it's always his norm truth for the Uganda Catholic Television at every opportunity, Right Reverend Chibira rallied the congregation to support our own Uganda Catholic Television by guiding them on how to donate at their most convenient times using MTN Momo.
Star 1 6 5 star 3 hash.
Now
then yes.
Yes.
After that, it will require for a merchant code. And the merchant code is 1 8 0 5 7 2 1 8 0 5 7 2.
And then?
Then you enter the amount.
Put the amount of money. And after the amount of money?
After the amount, you will pay using mobile money. So you will press 1.
Meanwhile, the director of the school, Jerome Bagambe Twimuche, pledged to carry on the spirit and desires of late Father Kanyonza by ensuring that the school is run on the morals and values of the Catholic Church.
Personally, I don't want us to have a school named after Father Kanyonza, but doing, again, funny things. The school must be run and managed as a Catholic school. And actually, Father, our Lord Bishop, thank you so much. In my speech, I wanted to request for the chaplain, but you have granted my wish at the beginning of Mass. We shall be very grateful if we have the chaplain to take further the spirit of Father Kanyonza and his love for education. Bishop, I will offer a bursary of 2 students in A level every year, a boy and girl, from you, from your choice, at least as long as I live.
This he demonstrated by practically supporting the construction project of the cathedral at the school premises.
We would also like to give support to the construction of the cathedral. You know, the bishop cannot do these things alone. So I would request everyone, students, parents, our invited guests, you join me, we contribute a brick to the construction of the cathedral, and as a school, with the school staff and administration, we are putting 1 million cash, which you will contribute on, and we help the bishop in the construction of that cathedral.
It's upon this ground that he called upon members of the public to confidently entrust the school with their children, so that they can not only excel academically, but as well obtain the solid Catholic foundation as they grow up.
We request you that you trust us with your children next year, and we shall nurture them very well. Our performance is not very bad. Last year, we sat for the first time. O level, we were the third in Kasese district. For A level, we did not sit from here because we didn't have a UNEB center, but this year we have it, and we sat from Rimi, and because of our results, we made that school the school #1 in Bunyangau.
According to the director, the school is promising to offer the best and competitive education service in the community, as it has already secured the Uganda National Examinations Board Center number. Joseph Kabali, UCTV News.
The government has announced plans to establish the Food and Agriculture Regulatory Authority to address the growing issue of counterfeit livestock drugs and products affecting Uganda's agriculture sector. The State Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Fred Wino, shared the news during the media briefing ahead of the upcoming World Food Day celebration on Wednesday, October 16th in Serere District. The minister emphasized that FARA is part of the government's commitment to addressing the farmers' concerns and improving the agricultural landscape in Uganda, with the Ministry of Agriculture working with stakeholders to ensure successful establishment of the Food and Agriculture Regulatory Authority.
Food quality and food safety is almost like an orphan. Can you tell me who is handling it in Uganda? It's almost an orphan. So that's why we have decided to create a new agency to cater for those lacunas, for those gaps.
The Buganda Kingdom has issued a stern warning to Masaza Cup fans to maintain discipline ahead of the finals scheduled for November 2nd at Mandela National Stadium, that's in Nambole. The Kingdom Minister of Sports, Robert Sirwanga, conveyed the message during a press briefing at Bulange Mengo, stressing that His Majesty Ronald Mwenda Mutebi values the safety of his subjects. Now, Sirwanga cautioned that violent behavior by fans on the day could result in tragic consequences. The much anticipated finals will see Budu face off against Chagwe County with the third place match also taking place on the same day.
Everyone who attended our games last weekend, which marked a total of 102 games played so far in this tournament. I would like to thank the supporters who traveled from Chagwe to Buwekula and those who traveled from Chadondo to Budu. And also to thank the host teams, that is Buwekula and Budu, for quite a good welcome they accorded the visitors in those fixtures. The teams that participated gave us a very good show of the game. But as you know, football at the end of the day, you must have a winner. Both games ended in a stalemate, but the one who advances is the one who has the best aggregate over the other. I would like to thank the security officers. I would like to thank the media teams, and also want to thank everyone who has followed us since we started these games June this year. This year marks the 20th edition of the Masaza Cup, and on the 2nd of November, we are going to have the final in Nambole Stadium. I call upon everyone to come and be with us as we watch two games. One, the classification game between Chadondo and Buwekula, which will kick off at 11 a.m. Then we shall go into the final, which will be between Budu and Chagwe. That will kick off at 3 p.m. All these four teams play very good football. And the quality of football they play is only the one who plays quality football but also has the luck that wins these games. We want everyone coming for this game to take precaution, because His Majesty the Kabaka wants us to enjoy the games, get the excitement, but don't lose lives. So those who will be traveling, take precaution to avoid accidents while coming to Nambole. I would like to inform you that everyone who has participated in this edition, all the 18 counties, have a mega contribution to this tournament, meaning that the wins we had yesterday are not for only the teams that became victors, but the win is for everyone who is involved in the preparation of these games.
Let's now take a quick break. When we return, Uctv News continues.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Well, thank you so much. That marks the end of our bulletin tonight. It has been nice having you. I'll definitely see you tomorrow at the same time. My name is Nora Sende. Until then, do have yourself a blessed evening and a good night.